The poet Walt Whitman said that he's talking about the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse, which means that all of us can possibly contribute a verse into what's going on in the world. And this is my verse because I do things in pictures. And this is my idea of the worldview and then where we could go with it. And what I'm going to do now is going to kind of walk you through how I got to it. All right. And this is my kind of my landscape for how I do it. And I started with the idea that we all have this concept of a worldview of what the world ought to be and what the world is. And we build a narrative about what is in between those two, how we manage the two of those together. So let's look at what we think the world, or what I'm saying the world ought to be. And there's this issue about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And Lakoff tells us that we really should, the lives of individuals are significantly influenced by the central metaphors they use to explain complex phenomena. So we have to be careful about the metaphor that we're using. So if we're using Maslow's kind of idea of needs, really, I think it's upside down. I think that we have to look at it that way. And even more than that, I think there's actually kind of two pieces to it. I think there's one piece at the bottom two layers that are physiological and safety, and that's what I'm going to focus on, because I really think that the self-actualization, esteem, and love and belonging. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But then when we look about what the is, what do we find? We're finding that as a species, we're kind of dangerous and cruel. Problems are too complex for us. Our brain advantage is narrating, and our misadvantage the male view. Also, we also tend to build biases based upon groupthink, and we are easily distracted. So these things really kind of take away from our capability of being the species that decides what it is. Right, and so the multiple variables, what matters, and we need help in order to deal with something that has multiple variables. So we need quantum computing, and we need to have some kind of relationship and link with technology in order for us to really understand the is. Because when you look at it in total, knowledge is all based upon having broken through the barriers of those biases and distractions. So when we now take our ought and our is, we build from that, we build our values. And so what we're going to look at as far as values is if you look at what I talked about, the top three of the Maslow, the value really there is all about individualism. And we have some good examples of that, say the Amish. But the individualism also is kind of woven throughout all of our myths and all of our artifacts. And so the idea of individualism is so powerful there. But what I'm saying is that for the safety and the physiological, we really need to go more with the Spock idea of the good of the many. And so we have to come up with values that really approach and will help us with that. And that's what I'm saying, that the values that I believe we should be focused on are care, honesty, courage, ambition, and intellectual integrity. So that to me are the values that I see in the worldview. And then the policies which get built off of those values. So if you look at what policies were built off of the individualism value, it was democracy, capitalism, and liberal humanism. That's where we are now. And they all kind of stand on that idea of individualism, that the individual knows best what to buy, who to vote for, and what to buy, and all those other things. And so I'm saying that if we're going to go with the values about the good of the many, we really have to look at values across everybody, the planet, non-humans on the planet, others that are different than us, and our own citizens. So our policies have to be much broader. And then the institutions that are there to basically deliver the values and the policies to all of the citizens. And currently, the institutions, of course, are the state institutions, our political institutions, so the state bureaucracy, the rules of law, and democratic accountability, voting and stuff, and market capitalism, and with the state of the market and the state of the economy. And I'm saying that I see they are also going to go away, and we're going to see what we're going to see is the development of think tanks that are based upon the kind of partnership between us and technology, and that we're going to get help in terms of what matters from quantum computing, and we're going to get help in terms of what works from things like artificial intelligence. And so that to me is where we're going, and that's my worldview, and that is what I want to be my verse. My verse is an image verse. Thank you.